Welcome to the Blanco Wellness Podcast. Thank you for being here. Take a breath, settle in, and let's talk today about something that quietly puts many people's lives on hold for far longer than they realize. Have you ever felt like you were waiting for your life to begin? Not because nothing was happening, but because you had not yet received the clarity you felt you needed before you could properly move. Waiting for the answer that would confirm the right direction, waiting for the certainty that would make the next decision feel safe, waiting for the moment when enough of the picture had been revealed that moving forward felt genuinely justified rather than like a leap into something you did not fully understand. Many people spend months, sometimes years, in this posture, not idle exactly, but suspended, postponing meaningful movement until they feel sufficiently certain about where the movement will lead. The mind presents this as reasonable. Once I understand what comes next, it says, I can act with confidence. Once I have enough information, I can commit. Once the uncertainty resolves, I can begin. The logic sounds responsible. But look at what it is actually doing. It is making forward movement conditional on a form of certainty that the future very rarely provides in advance. It is asking for the completed picture before the first brushstroke has been made. A student spent years in search of the kind of deep understanding he felt he lacked, moving from teacher to teacher, reading widely, meditating carefully, questioning everything. He was genuinely devoted to the search, and the search was genuinely exhausting. And one day he asked an old teacher directly, "When will I finally have all the answers?" The teacher laughed, not unkindly, and then said, "The day you stop needing them." The student was confused, then slowly was not. Because he began to understand that what he had been calling a search for wisdom was actually a search for certainty, and that these two things, which feel similar from the inside, lead in entirely different directions. Wisdom arrives through engagement with life as it is, including its irreducible uncertainty. Certainty, as a prerequisite for engagement, is how the engagement gets indefinitely postponed. Think about the significant decisions in your own life, the ones that shape the direction of things, that open chapters worth having. How many of them arrived with complete certainty? The choice of direction, the relationship entered, the thing risked, the move made towards something that mattered. In how many of those moments did you feel genuinely certain beforehand? Most people, when they examine this honestly, find that certainty was rarely present at the important moments. What was present was something closer to enough clarity about the next step, enough trust in the direction, enough willingness to move without the complete picture. And then the movement itself began to generate the clarity that the waiting had been hoping to produce in advance. This is one of the more reliable patterns in how a human life actually develops. Clarity tends to arrive through action, rather than before it. The confidence that makes something feel genuinely yours comes not from thinking about it long enough, but from doing it, imperfectly and with incomplete information, and discovering through the doing what the extensive thinking could not have told you. Think about learning to ride a bicycle. You do not become confident on a bicycle through prolonged reflection about bicycle riding. You become confident by riding, falling, adjusting, and continuing. The confidence is a product of the engagement, not a prerequisite for it. This same pattern runs through almost every form of genuine development: relationships, creative work, the gradual discovery of what you actually value, the deepening of understanding about who you are and what kind of life fits you. The Taoists made this observation through the image of the river, as they often did, because the river demonstrates it without argument. The river does not know the full topology of the landscape it is moving through. It has no map of what lies around the next bend, no certainty about where the path will open and where it will narrow. It moves, responds to what each new stretch of ground presents, adapts to the obstacles it encounters, and in this way gradually covers ground that no amount of anticipation from the starting point could have fully charted. The river's relationship with uncertainty is not denial. It genuinely does not know what comes next. Its relationship with uncertainty is participation. It moves through the unknown rather than waiting at the edge of it. The fear of making a wrong choice deserves direct attention, because it is often the specific thing underneath the waiting. Not just uncertainty in the abstract, but the specific dread of choosing incorrectly and having to live with the consequences. What if this is the wrong direction? What if I regret it? What if a different choice would have led somewhere better? These questions are real, and they are worth taking seriously. But they have a tendency, when taken too seriously and held too long, to paralyze rather than to inform. Every meaningful life contains wrong turns. Every person who has built something worth building has moved through decisions that did not work out the way they hoped, directions that turned out to be detours, choices that cost something real. The lesson the Buddhist tradition draws from this is not that mistakes should be avoided at all costs, an aim that tends to produce the avoidance of movement rather than the avoidance of mistakes. The lesson is that wisdom does not come from never being wrong. It comes from the honest engagement with experience, including the experience of being wrong, that gradually deepens understanding. The unknown is not a flaw in the design of life that should eventually be corrected. It is the space inside which every new thing that has ever mattered to you was once contained. Every friendship, every opportunity, every unexpected turn that led somewhere you would not trade. Before those things arrived, they were uncertain, unplanned, impossible to have known in advance. The unknown held them. And the willingness to move into that space without demanding the complete picture first was what allowed them to become part of your story. As we close today, I want to leave you with a simple question. What answer are you currently waiting for before you allow yourself to move? And what would happen if, rather than waiting for that answer to arrive, you took the next available step, not because you suddenly know everything, but because you know enough? The next step is often all that is being asked, not the full journey, not the guaranteed destination, not the certainty that this is definitely right, just the step that is currently available, just that, and the willingness to see what it reveals. That willingness, it turns out, is where most good things begin. Thank you for being here with me today. Until next time, be well.